We're going to make chunky apple cake with brown butter frosting. And what you'll need is flour, sugar, granulated sugar, and powdered sugar for the icing. 1 cup of butter or margarine softened, which means you just let it set out there at room temperature. Vanilla, 3 eggs. You'll need baking soda, salt, and the recipe calls for ground cinnamon. My husband doesn't like cinnamon, so I'm going to use apple pie spice in its place. And 3 cups of a coarsely chopped and peeled apples, and 1 cup of chopped walnuts. We're going to heat our oven to 350, and you want to take a fluted tube pan and spray it with cooking spray that has the flour in it, which I didn't have, so I sprayed it with my cooking spray, and then I just took regular flour and sprinkled it around in there and covered my pan. You want to get it really good so it doesn't stick. Alright, now in a large bowl we're going to beat the cup of butter softened. We're going to beat that with the 2 cups of granulated sugar. You're going to beat that on medium. You're going to beat it until it's light and fluffy. Next you're going to add the eggs one at a time. Okay, so that's 3 eggs. And now you're going to do the 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Beat that in there. Next, you're going to add your baking soda. You need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And 2 cups, 2.5 cups of flour. Alright, you're going to stir this in by hand. It's because it'll get pretty thick and heavy and it'll be hard for your mixer to turn it. So usually your flour is just always blended in with a spoon. Okay, get this stirred up a little bit, and then we'll add our salt, and I'm going to add apple spice, or you can use cinnamon. But I want to get the blend stirred up here a little bit first. Alright. And it calls for a half a teaspoon of salt. And 2 teaspoons of cinnamon or apple spice. Which is actually apple pie spice. I don't know if I said that earlier or not. Oop. Let's get this all stirred up here. Smells good. You want to stir this up completely. See how we've got it all blended in here. It's getting pretty stiff. Okay, now you want to stir in your 3 cups, which is about 3 medium apples, peeled and chopped up coarsely. And a cup of chopped walnuts. Stir this up real good. And you're going to bake this at 350 for 50 to 65 minutes. And we'll want to cool it completely, which maybe an hour and a half. It'll take it cool completely, and then we'll mix up the icing to put on top of it. So it takes about 3 hours to make this cake, and you know, by the time you mix everything up and bake it and let it cool. Alright, it's ready to dump into the fluted pan. It's been 55 minutes since I put my cake in, and it says to insert a toothpick into the cake to see if it comes out clean, which it did. That means the cake is done. Now I'm going to let it sit here and cool for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes I'm going to put it on a cooling rack. I'm going to pop it out of the pan and let it continue to cool on the cooling rack. It's been 10 minutes since I took my cake out of the oven, and I've let it sit here and cool. Now I'm just checking. I think, alright. I'm going to turn it out onto a cooling rack and let it finish cooling so I can ice it. That's the easiest way to do that. Like that. There we go. Now we'll let it continue cooling. Oh, that smells good. And then we'll mix up the browned butter frosting to put over the top of it. Alright, the half a cup of butter, stir it constantly, and you stir it until it turns a golden brown. And it took about 5 minutes. And it's a nice pretty gold brown. And I'm going to add my teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to slowly add my 3 1/4 cups of powdered sugar. I'm going to stir that in. A little at a time. And I have to add a little bit of milk. You just want it to loosen it up to where you can work with the icing, with the sugars and stuff. You really don't want it loose. So I'm saying not even 1/4 cup of milk there. If you can see the consistency, see it's getting a little bit tight again. Last of our powdered sugar. See, it's pretty tight. See, you can't use ice anything with that, so we got to add just a little bit of milk. Remember, a little at a time, because you can always add more, but you can't take out once you get it in there. And when we're done, we're gonna ice the top of the cake and let it drizzle down over the sides. Okay, and the ice, it's just how, I think this is a good consistency for icing, but if you like it a little looser, put a little more milk in. That's fine. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Now we're going to ice our cake. Want to put it generously around the top and then just ice it down the sides a little bit, or however you prefer. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Alright, here's the finished product. This is a chunky apple cake with brown butter frosting. Look at that. Doesn't that look good?